All right, so let's get straight into it. We're gonna open the 23-year Doc Holiday right now. Seal still intact. This is actually all the packaging it came with for $1,000 bottle. You would think, okay, this is really bad, at least in the sense of presentation. But hopefully, that's a good indicator that what's inside of this is actually going to be what the price you're paying, what that's going toward is what's inside the bottle. Because it doesn't get much worse as far as packaging, to be honest with you. It's uh it's really bad. Okay, let's just go ahead and open it then. I have my decanter here. I'm gonna decant some. I'm gonna try it first. I'm gonna get everything going. We'll decant it first. I got one glass for just our straightaway pour, no decanting, no nothing. Another glass for the decanted pour, and another glass for my pour with water. So I'm going to do 1 ounce, 1 ounce, and 1 ounce. So I'm going to essentially drink 3 ounces tonight. So I'm going to eyeball it, but the decanter is great because it can get everything back into the bottle really nice and clean. This is made for pouring, so it's absolutely perfect. And yeah, let's get right into it. So, all right, let's open it. All right, wow. Got it open. Let's do it. Just your run-of-the-mill plastic there, and this is pretty cool. It has like a revolver gun chamber bottle top. All right, it's gonna come straight off of it. All right, synthetic cork, very heavy topper. It's pretty awesome. I'll put it right there for you. All right, here we go. 23-year Doc Holiday. Can't our 3 ounces and start pouring. It's about enough. So you just decant what you're going to drink. Clean decanter. We're gonna do our straight up pour, no waiting, no water. All right. Going to do our water pour. We're going to do our leave this a little bit in the decanter, and then we'll pour that at the end and see how decanting helped out or didn't. Warmed up with a little Elijah Craig 15, which is absolutely outstanding. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. All right, I'm really excited, guys. Let's go ahead and cap that. All right, go straight away into the nose. It's very closed off at first. Of course, I would expect a really old whiskey to be a little closed off. You know, spent 23 years in a barrel, then however long in a bottle. When you pour it into a glass at first sip, you're not going to get a whole lot. That's just my experience. On more whiskeys than not, you're not going to get a whole lot, if that makes sense. So maybe 7 out of 10 pours when they're super old. You know, I'll get some primary notes, some regular bourbon notes, but it takes a little while for these to open up. But I'm just going to tell you whatever I get on the first pour. I get kind of a weird note, okay? This is not, it's not awesome. On first nose, it's got this kind of, it's got your primary bourbon notes, your sugar, your brown sugar, your cinnamon, your clove. It's it's a little sour. It smells a little sour. Sour as in maybe a fruit that is overripe. Typically those are sweeter. However, sometimes when you get a grape that is overripe, past being ripe, you'll get this kind of sour mildew note, and that's kind of what I'm getting on the first scent, which is not good at all. Now I'm scared. Now I'm officially scared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to persevere past that. I'm going to objectively just taste now. And again, The color on this isn't too crazy. It's more of a medium amber. It's not even a dark amber. At 23 years old, barrel proof, you'd expect a super amber, red, hued bourbon, but this is golden medium amber. This is not. Yeah, and it's got that sour note. So that appearance is big for me. Palate is big as well. So the nose. Let's just get past the nose. I'm just gonna go first sip. Here we go. Cheers. Yeah, interesting. Wow. Okay, that's very interesting. On first sip, it does not drink its proof at all. The most of the palate that's affected is the middle palate. The front palate is almost absent. The finish is almost absent as well. On first sip, this has a lot of changing to do, I can tell. However, on the middle palate, what I do get is rather pleasant. It's yeah, it is on profile for sure for what it claims to be, which is 23-year-old Buffalo Trace. Yeah, that sour note is ever present, even on the palate. However, when you do sip it, you do get this transitions to almost a pleasant sourness because, okay, so on the second sip, right away, up on the front of the palate is very sweet, very candied sugar. It's very, very sweet. Sugar, brown sugar, candied, maybe just candy, hard candy, like not butterscotch. It's not quite butterscotch, more like one of those candied fruits, like a candied strawberry sucker or candied strawberry. Um, uh, those old candies that have the foil and it looks like a strawberry. It has a candied strawberry palate. That mustiness is still there. That mildew is still there. But yeah, on the front palate, in the mid palate, it's very, very sweet. It's quite pleasant for what is there, but on $1,000 bottle of whiskey, you do not expect this type of palate, especially at. I mean, it doesn't say it's barrel proof. I don't think. Let me see. It does say barrel proof actually. 58%, single barrel, double oak, 23 years old. It is on profile for Buffalo Trace. It does taste like Buffalo Trace actually. Does it taste like older Buffalo Trace? I would say so. I would say so. This old, I've never had. I've never had Eagle Rare 17 or anything like that, but it is quite on profile. It's very sweet. Now, hopefully that mildew note will disappear with water or with decanting. So we're going to let that sit in there for a while. I don't have a whole lot in there. I'm going to put a little bit more into this decanter. I can just pour back whatever I don't drink. However, I feel like I'm going to drink through a lot of this tonight, only because I really want to get a good feel for what this is. Since there's still a lot available online, I want to know which direction this might go. Is it something I want to enjoy again? Is it something that I want to get rid of? I want to figure out exactly what I want to do with this. So this was the straightaway pour, and I'm going to just polish this tiny bit off and tell you again. Maybe I'll count the finish for you. The mustiness is still there. Mustiness is still there on the nose. It's kind of dissipated from the palate. Now I get a tannic oak on the finish. Before the finish was just kind of that sweetness. There was no real oak notes to speak of. This is about an ounce. So I'm going to put 1 drop of water. So that's a discussion we can get into regarding water and whiskey. 1 drop of water is not going to affect the whiskey at all as far as proof. 1 drop of water is only going to affect the chemical organization of the pour. And I didn't make that up. It's in a book that I read for the first time. by Amy Stewart called The Drunken Botanist. And she just kind of broke down what a drop of water does to a pour. So I don't have a dropper. I just use this straw from one of my Yetis. And I'm just going to put one drop of water. Hopefully it falls. Let me try. Go. There we go. Like 1.5 drops. Not going to make a difference at all. Put that off to the side. One drop of water. Let's see what that does to the whiskey. All right. Again, medium amber to light amber even. This is crazy. A 23-year-old product. This color is absolutely insane. The mustiness didn't die off altogether. However, a lot of the other aromas are coming way to the front now. We got a lot of sweet brown sugar, a lot of sweet oak. We got a lot of more bursting aromas. It's kind of jumping out of the glass now with minimal decanting and just one drop of water. That's why I love the water trick. If you have a whiskey that's closed off and you're disappointed that it's so closed off, one drop of water will do it right. Oh yeah, that smells really good now. Actually, it smells really good. Just everything is amplified, like times 10. Literally times 10. So all the sweet sugars, all the candied fruit, candied sweetness. It is like a strawberry note, a fake strawberry note if I had to call a fruit, which is nice. Some of the people online would say a bright profile. I hate describing it that way because to me it's just like a bad descriptor, but I digress. Let's just get into it. Oh, that's much better. Wow. Okay, so with the drop of water, I get amplified flavor on the palate. I'm really getting zeroed in here on what this reminds me of. It was, on the pour without anything, the neck pour. It did taste super familiar. Now it's even more familiar. This tastes like Stag Junior and old Stag Juniors, like Stag Junior Batch 9, Batch 10. And I don't mean in the heat sense. I mean, if you had layers of flavors and you picked out, on Stag Junior, you got sweet, you got spice, you got fruit, you got heat. If you subtract the heat, you subtract the spice, you're left with the fruit and sweetness on the Stag. It's like you deleted those two profiles from the Stag Junior and you're left with just a sweet sugar bomb with a bit of candied fruit. And it is really nice actually now with the water. I'm really surprised that it opened up that much with just one drop of water. The muskiness is still there. Now, what that's from, I have no clue. Could be a bottling line issue. Could be a secondary barreling issue. Could have been for 23 years in a barrel. You got to imagine the conditions that barrel was in would harbor an atmosphere or an environment for spores, mildew, fungus, probably some type of spore maybe aged with the whiskey and imparted some flavor, which is super interesting. That's why that old grape note, I said, like when a grape is overripe, it's got a little mildew on it sometimes. I have kids, so I wash grapes maybe 3 times a day, and some of them are bad. I just eat them. I don't feed them to the kids, but I just eat them. So that's what that reminds me of. All right. Yeah, totally Buffalo Trace profile. Super sweet, super decadent. It's getting more candied marshmallow. Some chocolate is coming out now. Milk chocolate, white chocolate, some of the lighter flavored chocolates, not your cacao nibs, not your cocoa. Yeah, that's actually getting really good. I'm gonna let it chill just for a minute just to maybe see. I tried to look at press release. There is no press release. All the information, it comes from the websites of the vendors selling this. These are still all over the internet. Because who's crazy enough to buy $1,000 bottle? I guess I am. But thank you to everyone who went in on this with me. A few guys bought some samples, so I appreciate you. This video is a lot for you as well. I'll get your samples poured up and get them ready to go. I really like it now. One Drop of Water did it well. I'm excited to try the super decanted one now. Now the proof is not there on the palette, to be honest with you. It's like really a soft heat, not really much there at all, but it is a creeper because it's 116 proof. I definitely have some saturation effects going on because I'm kind of plowing through this, but that was the intention for me to get through this tasting. Yeah, I'm really happy with this now, especially, you know, having went in on this with some people. I get to enjoy this, and I'm going to savor this last little bit, and then I'm going to save this one, and I'm going to go straight to your more decanted one and get going on that. Fantastic on the palate. I really like this. I really like this now. Wow. Talking about sweet sugar, decadent chocolate marshmallow. Just straight up a soft, delicate flavor of sugar, sweet. You know, that marshmallow must be from the rebarreling. I don't know how they rebarreled it. I don't know how long for. All it says on the bottle is it was distilled on 1/5/2003. That's pretty much it. Delicious. Now the finish is a lot. It lingers a lot more. It lasts a lot longer. It's a special whiskey. I mean, you don't get to try whiskeys this old. Wow. Be surprised. Pretty surprised how well that did with One Drop of Water. Just goes to show you guys, don't judge a whiskey off the first pour. I see a lot of reviews that, you know, they make a review off of maybe a sample, and they just pour the sample and they just start tasting, and then they give the review and they give their score, and then they move on. And that's just, you just can't do that with older whiskeys. Maybe with a 6-year whiskey or a 7-year whiskey, but when you get in the 10, 11, 12, 13-year range, you have to take your time with the tastings. You have to get into it. You have to try some different methods. And the reason why is because with wine is a different story. Wine changes a lot over time. In the bottle, it changes a lot when you pour it out of the bottle. It changes very quickly because wine is actually like a living organism. It has like a bunch of active enzymes in wine. That's why it spoils so fast, because once you open it, expose it, and it just dies. So then it turns and it becomes undrinkable. But with whiskey, I've noticed it doesn't change that rapidly. However, it does change, and a lot of people say, you'll hear it a lot, get into the bottle. Once I got 2/3 into it, it started to really taste good. You don't have to do that. You don't have to wait until you get to the shoulder or past the shoulder to see how your whiskey changes. You can manipulate it right then and there with just 1 drop of water. Now, if I did the 1 drop of water and it's still not doing well, and I say, okay, let it sit out for 60 minutes, an hour, I can understand, okay, that's kind of going a little too far. It shouldn't present like that. I shouldn't have to be an alchemist to gain from the whiskey what I want from it. At that point, you can say this is falling short. But to just review it off of the first sip from a sample, especially, and that's just irresponsible to me. You can't do that. Okay. All right. So let's just, I said I was going to come back to this, but I'm just going to finish this because I can add a drop of water to it at any time. Now that's been in there for, we've been recording for 6 or 7 minutes. I'm going to let it sit in there for 20 minutes. I'm going to come back to it. I'm not going to do anything else. Just finish this. Cheers. This is delicious. Excellent. Wow. Fantastic. All right. We'll be back and we'll drink from that decanted one after it's been in there for about 20 minutes. We're back. We're back with our decanted pour. It's ready to go. Just go ahead and pour it up and do the final part of the tasting. Thank you all for being here again. If you have a chance, like and comment. Let me know what you think about this method with the systematic way that I approach this really serious whiskey. It's super expensive, so I don't want to screw this up. I don't want to prejudge it. Good thing I didn't, because the first sip right after bottle shock was not impressive at all. Um, yeah, so this is our decanted pour. We're ready to go. It still has a bit of that spore note, which, I don't think there's going to be a clear way to totally rid the experience of that. For me, that is a big problem. However, I can look past it for the sake of the tasting to judge the elements of the whiskey that aren't just the nose. If it was on the palate, we'd have a different discussion. However, the nose is still there. The faint spore, slightly mildewy note is still there, which is super unfortunate. However, yeah, for me, it's just not there on the palate. I'm not a particularly sensitive to that flavor on the palate, because there's so much there besides the nosing of that spore note, if that makes sense. I can totally forget about it because of the big, huge candied sweet notes that are just layered and layered and layered on this. It reminds me of like a thick piece of baklava with just layers and layers. Not so much pastry, but just the sweetness, the marzipan, the honey, the sugar, the stickiness. It's has all of those things, so that part of the nose that's not the best, it's not really showing up for me on the palate, which I'm very, very happy about that. However, to conclude, this is to be exact, it was $949 plus tax, which took it well over $1,000 here in California. Is that acceptable for a $1,000 bottle? Maybe not. Probably not. Probably not. Does that take away from how this is drinking? Yeah, a little, I'll be honest. However, would I buy this bottle again? Probably. The uniqueness for me is something that I would like to revisit. We'll see how fast this bottle goes. Besides how unique it is darn tasty. It is a huge, serious whiskey. Just that spore note, that mildew note, does ruin it in a way. So based on that, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this pour, and hopefully we can get past it. Hopefully with enough decanting, though. It is starting to subdue even more at like the 25-minute mark of decanting. So maybe it'll take 40 minutes, 45 minutes, which is not acceptable. Now we're just, like I said before, now we are manipulating this thing to the point where probably shouldn't have been put out that way. But it is out. I did buy it. Money's already spent, so I'm not worried about that part. And I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to finish this bottle probably. I'd consider getting another one. Probably wouldn't. Probably would spend that money elsewhere. But am I glad I got it? At the end of the day, yeah, sure. I'm glad I got it because I got to make this review. I got to try it. I got to enjoy it. I'm still enjoying it. And hopefully a few of my friends can come over and enjoy it too. With that being said, thanks for stopping. This is Open Bottles. This has been an open bottle review of Doc Holliday 23 year. Cheers.